Hey there, I am Caleb Badillion. I am the local government and politics reporter for the Daily Journal. I am joined today by the two candidates seeking elected office in Ward 6. I have the incumbent, Mike Bryan, Republican candidate in his third term. And I have the Democratic challenger here, Katherine Caldwell Grist, better known as KC Grist. So I'm meeting with these candidates today to talk a little bit about their vision for the city and their platforms for office. So I want to go ahead and get started with a policy question. I want to ask Councilman Bryan. The city has funneled over the last term and somewhat the term before quite a bit of public money into revitalization efforts, neighborhood revitalization, and efforts to combat blight. Some of those efforts you have voted in favor of. A couple of them you have voted against. I want you to explain a little bit, if you're reelected over this next term, how will you approach the issue of how the city should be involved in revitalization?
Yes, I supported the West Jackson Street project. It's a huge project, and we had to go in and take care of the blighted area. We have a lot of blighted areas and a lot of bad pockets in the city. I supported that project because the crime rate was up, and we have a lot of issues in that area. Also, throughout the ward, throughout the city, we have pockets of blighted homes and everything, and the city, have to go in and buy it and take care of it and then put it back on the tax rolls. However, right now, the city is taking a look at not buying property. We're going to put everything on pause, and then we're going to try to look at ways to attack the blighted areas before it gets blighted. And that's through code enforcement, through the police department, get the police out there and give them the resources that they need to take care of business.
All right, thanks so much. All right, what is your vision for the role the city should play in how to restore maybe older neighborhoods that have crime or just blighted? How active should the city be? How much city money should be involved in those projects?
I've been very excited to see the revitalization that has happened across the city. Some of the things that Mayor Shelton has supported, it's part of the reason I'm running. Quite frankly, to be able to see some of these properties demolished, and then the vision for lower and middle income, sort of mixed income housing developments is so needed in our community. And so I would fully support continuation of any of those efforts.
All right. Another policy question for you, Councilman. Council recently voted to create a Citizens Advisory Board for the police department. Now, this board was intended to be a communications tool. It's got no oversight authority over the police department. You were the only council member that voted against creating that board. Can you explain your stance on that issue?
Yes, it was created for the wrong reason. It was created because of the Schumpert shooting, and then we had a group of citizens that came in, a very small group, and they started demanding things for the city. So I did not support it. Ward 6 did not support a police advisory board. While I'm in my meetings at City Hall, what I hear and what I take from that meeting, if I cannot go back to the citizens and say, look, we need this and this is why, I agree with the citizens of Ward 6 and a lot of citizens throughout the town that we don't need a police advisory board. We have a policy. No, there's state statute and the federal government. We have different avenues that if an officer is involved in a crime, then they can be investigated. And if they pass everything, why do we need that citizen advisory board to say, no, they didn't do their job?
Okay, quick follow-up question.
Yes.
What do you think are some appropriate ways to restore relationships between the police department and maybe certain communities that feel suspicious of the police department?
Great question. And the administration and the council supports the administration and the police department. The police department is active in the community. They have over 300 things that they do during the year active in the community. In the communities that you're talking about, they make a police presence. Councilwoman Nettie Davis has got the Forward Festival. The policemen are out there. The police department is doing things in these areas. When a situation happened like the Shumpert shooting, again, we had a small group of citizens that they started demanding, started marching, started putting pressure on the mayor and the administration. And to me, no, don't cave in, because they don't realize what all the police department is doing in those communities.
All right, thanks. I want to get your stance on a police advisory board intended to be a communications tool between the public and the police.
Sure. Many of our city departments have advisory committees such as this. And so I'm always going to come down on the side of public safety and communication. So if this is something, as my understanding is, they don't have any real authority in terms of, subpoena power or any of those kinds of things. Anything that's going to increase communication between our citizens and our departments and the administration, I think can only be a positive thing. The word I'm hearing as I knock on doors and as I talk to people in Ward 6 is they value that increased communication. Many of them don't feel like they have a voice. They don't feel like anyone listens to them. And so I think any opportunities we are able to provide that enhances communication is only a positive thing.
Quick follow-up about the police department. We've heard a lot about community-oriented policing over the last year. In your experience, based on what you know, do you think those efforts have been adequate thus far?
Well, I think it's been adequate, but has it reached, the level that we'd like for it to? Probably not. I think our police officers do a fabulous job. My brother is a volunteer police officer, so he goes out there and works events and works as a police officer, and I see the kinds of things that they're up against. They make a real effort at police presence. My boys have been involved in the Police Athletic League, which I think is a huge, way for our kids to interact with the police department. I know the chief has just released Operation Safe Summer, which will be a heightened presence of the police department over the summer months where our children are out of school and maybe out on the streets a little bit more. So I think we're getting there, and I think we're doing a great job. Is there more to do? Always. And so I would fully support anything with the direction of the police department that they feel would enhance communication.
All right, let's get ward specific, and we'll start with the challenger this time. What do you think are the greatest needs facing Ward 6 right now?
Well, clearly, the greatest need in Ward 6 is an increased business presence. We need to create more opportunities in grocery stores, restaurants, shopping opportunities. We sit in a ward with the largest high school in the state, the airport, Ballard Park Sportsplex, which brings in thousands of visitors. And these people have to leave our ward to stay in a hotel, to run pick up a snack, or to have a meal. And so with rare exception, there are a couple of opportunities, but it's not proportionate. And so I would really want to work hard to see further development in Ward 6 in those opportunities.
Okay. What, to your mind, are the greatest needs facing Ward 6 right now?
Number one, crime in our older subdivisions and the newer ones, and also blighted areas, which we are taking care of. We'll have a house burned down in a neighborhood, and that is really crucial. But another thing that we have in Ward 6, that to keep the momentum of what we have going on right now. We have a lot going on in Ward 6. Ward 6 has grown over the years. Just take a look. Citizens are happy with it. The city of Tupelo, what we're doing is we're investing at Ballard Park. We're adding 3 new baseball fields. We're taking a look at doing a new playground, a handicap acceptable playground. We are investing in our parks, making it better and encouraging development across the street. I talked with the developers out there.
All right, Councilman.
Can I say one thing?
We're out of time. We're out
Okay.
of time. So I want to ask a quick follow-up. What's your evaluation of economic conditions in the ward? Is there a need for more business development?
Sure. I mean, more business they're needed across the city. Like the developer across the street that bought the old Hancock building, he came to me and his partners. We sit down. The city of Tupelo is putting a red light there. We're putting a red light out west for that, to help that development over there, for people to pull in, pull out. The city is doing what we can do to spark the private sector. Also, you have a soccer fields, baseball fields, the school there. It's needed for a red light for a long time. The state said no. MDOT said no. There wasn't enough traffic coming up from Rutherford Drive. Now the city doesn't have to ask the state for permission to put a red light there, and we got it approved.
All right, thanks. You brought up business development, so I want to ask you, do you have any ideas on how to spark some of this development you've talked about?
Well, I think one of the things that we can look at from a development standpoint is some of the communities around us, some of the smaller communities, have employed a retail coach or a retail, consultant, whose job specifically is to go out and recruit small retail businesses. When I go door to door and I talk to people about what their concerns are, that's the number one thing that I'm hearing is, we're having to go across town, just to go pick up something to eat or that kind of thing. And so I think to bring in perhaps someone who has expertise in that area, I also think I've done a lot of talking on my own to some of our local restaurant owners, to say, hey, come on, we need you on the west side. And I think it's going to take everybody. I think it will take citizens. I think it will take the council, and I think it will take the development department. Everybody working together to try to reach out and bring business to Ward 6.
All right, thanks. All right, let's wrap this up with some closing statements. I want to give each candidate a chance to explain directly to voters why they should go on to the city council. So we'll start with you. Why should voters reelect you?
I am the councilman for Ward 6. I'm their voice. I listen to the people, and I take their voice to City Hall. I go out in the community. I talk with citizens at the drainage issues, the street issues. I talk with them and take care of the citizens in Ward 6, and at the same time doing what's best for Tupelo. Under my leadership as council president, I created the first budget committee to help streamline the budget process with the mayor and administration. It has worked great. I was born and raised in Tupelo. I have Tupelo roots, Christian values, hometown pride. My kids my two daughters are in school here. My oldest daughter graduated in 2013. And Tupelo is on a roll. Ask anyone in Ward 6 or any other ward. Tupelo is on a roll. Let's keep that momentum going.
All right, thanks so much. All right, why are you the best option for Ward 6?
I love Tupelo. I'm passionate about Tupelo. My family's been here for 5 generations. I have spent my life as an advocate for children and for families across Mississippi. I have success at every level of government, local, state, and federal. I want to take all of those things. I want to be an advocate for the voters of Ward 6. I want to listen to them. I don't pretend to know what's best for Ward 6. I've walked around with my little notebook to hundreds and hundreds of doors. I have pages of complaints, concerns, and suggestions. I always tell people, 30 years in this type of business, I know who and I know how. I have relationships that I can call on people, and I know the processes. I know who to call. I know how to get things done. I think I'm the best one to make that happen. I think that it's just a new voice, and I think it's time.
All right, if you live in Ward 6, these are your options to represent you on the City Council. The general election will be on Tuesday, June the 6th, and you can keep reading the Daily Journal at djournal.com or in print every day for more election coverage. Thanks so much.